Good morning, friends. Welcome to my channel. This violin lesson will be on the Mendelssohn first movement Cadenza, and I'm going to do it in two parts. This will be obviously part one up until where the triplets begin in the second section. This first section has many difficulties and many different ways of playing it, which I'm going to focus on the way I do it. So as we come through this, the first difficulty we're dealing with, and I'm using the Baron edition here, and it says measure 299, is getting these accented lower notes. And for me, it's hard to get every note to sound like I have to hang my hand back at the last second, get the D sharp out there. And this one, of course, getting that unison is quite difficult. I end up not really using much unison sound. It's just try to get the G string in tune. And of course, it helps because there's accent, so you can do that. And so we're ending up down bow, and then it's going to be just a continuation. Now here's a case if you've been practicing your scales and arpeggios. This is not too difficult. We have a D sharp going to an F sharp minor third, so you play 1, 2, and then there's the perfect fourth for the high B. So that should be, if you've done your scales and etudes, it should be pretty easy for you. Then we start up again. I find I really need to focus on making sure this, getting that to come out. So I really emphasize again, just do a continuation. They have an extra down bow marked in. I don't know how we'd get up bow. Maybe, yeah, I guess because maybe I hadn't thought of that in bar 298. I'm playing two bows in this bar. I see they have in the addition. Yeah, that's much more complicated. I don't think it's necessary. So I'm starting down bow here. So that in measure 301, it's going to end down bow. And they didn't put a slur, so just consider it a slur. Same thing on the second one. Now this is a little bit more challenging arpeggio type of figure where it's all diminished. I use a 1, 2. Unusual for me. I don't often use that, but this is a perfect case of point. And then we're up to third position there. And come across. I use a 1, 2 on the A to C. Come up to a D sharp 1. Okay, so that should be no problem if you've done your arpeggios. And then, this one is challenging. I've seen great player like Perlman, big hand. he plays it, he stays in the half position. He can reach that D. I can't reach that D. So what I do is I do a quick switch. On the second beat of the measure, I go to first position after starting in half. Come up. So I'm now in first position. The D is now easy to find. And I get back to half position at the very end of that measure 306. So it looks like, if you practice it slowly, you'll be able to get that coordination if you need to. I think most players, I have a pretty long fingers, and Perlman does it so easily. It's amazing. You can watch him do it. So then we get to the, to make this bowing work out, I do an extra bow after the G sharp, up, down. And I don't use their fingering. I do it again, just reach for the 2 and then the third position. That's not an easy one on the A string. Many of my students have problems with that major third shift to the G sharp. You have to I don't know, you got to visualize it, that it's a long way to go. Make sure you get your elbow around. Same thing here on this higher one. It's not quite as difficult as the one on the A string, but so I want to end down bow on the harmonic. So that's why I do this. And then, now, as we come to this next section, it's marked forte in the very first note, this G sharp, and then a crescendo, a hairpin. To me, this first forte makes no sense at all. Start piano, then it's misterioso. I love starting down. So then the crescendo comes on an up bow, which is what we always want when we play strings. We want crescendos whenever we can on an up bow, diminuendos on a down bow. So it's perfect. Start down bow, diminuendo, and then this chord, they've got a special forte. Yeah, it's okay. You can play. You're gonna play whatever the dynamic is, but. And you play traditional. This is sort of a traditional fingering that I use. You could play it other ways. Whatever moves you, right? But the first one, harmonic on the E string. Did we do this again? Piano. They have, in the music, they have a 1. It's pretty risky for me. I'm more comfortable in this 2-3 position. I'm thinking, nobody can see into my mind or your mind. I'm thinking B flat. Forget about the A sharp, thinking B flat. And there's the traditional slide up to the A string on the second one. Then back to piano. And then the last one, measure 319, solid with the vibrato. Then the G. And then up to the harmonic on the last one, taking time. I've heard it played. I remember Pekka Zuckerman was playing with the orchestra once, and he just one time, just for the heck of it, he played it with a solid, it depends on what moves you, right? I remember it was very effective what he did, but he didn't play it like that every night. We played 4 concerts that week with him, and one time he played it one way, another way, so that's, it's great to have flexibility. Classical music is not always cut and dried. That's the way we always do it. Sometimes spontaneously, we just need to express a little different. So I'd say for the second section, from here, think piano to start with. It's so Mendelssohn to have that. I think when I play this, I think of Finkel's Cave, that overture, with all the surprising things that happen. Same thing. If you pick a zucchero, let's try it. You know? But most of the time, it's going to be piano, a harmonic up there. Okay, so that's part 1, and I'll soon be posting part 2 of this cadenza. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something, get some new ideas. This great music there's so many ways to play this great music. And this is just one idea, or, one series of ideas. Okay, thanks so much for listening. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. And we'll see you on the next one.